What happened over the next few weeks was something I had never imagined, even in my wildest dreams. Hi, my name is Bobo from Cape Town, South Africa. It seems that everyone has their backs turned on me. Stay tuned to find out how the sequence of events turned out. As I left the hospital room, I knew it was 50-50. It was hard to swallow the bitter pill that I was about to lose somebody so important to me. See, Rose and I had met in college. We both attended the University of Cape Town. Throughout our time in college, we dated. After completing college, moving in together and saving up enough money, we tied the knot by getting married in Robben Island. Our honeymoon was spent in Seychelles. When it was all over, we had splashed upwards of $150,000. We lived a happy life in Cape Town, and it wasn't long before we welcomed 2 daughters into our household, Cynthia and Lillian. Everything seems perfect, right? Your dream job, the woman of your dreams, and 2 beautiful daughters. You couldn't ask for more. But as I looked at Rose now, I knew it was all about to go down the drain. Her stage 4 cancer had taken a toll on her. She was diagnosed with cancer 6 years into our marriage. Chemotherapy didn't seem to work, and I was ready to accept fate.
I'm so sorry, Mr. Bobo, but Mrs. Rose has just passed away,
the doctor said. I felt a sharp surge of pain through my chest. Tears rolled down my face as what I dreaded most had just come to pass. Fast forward a fortnight from then, the burial was done. I realized that it was time to stop mourning and become the man my daughters needed. As time went by, the scar began to heal even though her absence was always obvious. At my workplace, I was soon promoted to the branch manager. I was working at Absa Bank after I graduated first class in finance from the University of Cape Town. After my promotion, I was making much more money. Within no time, I purchased the car of my dreams, a BMW X5 that cost $65,000. At work, I was seeing someone. Her name was Sophia, and she was the cash manager at the bank. She was transferred to our branch just 3 months prior, and we bonded at work. I would drive her home and sometimes pick her up from work. During the weekends, she would come along to spend time with the kids, and she was really good with them such that they liked her instantly. I know you guys are wondering why they liked her instantly. Simple. It's actually because the first time she took the remote, Sophia clicked on an Exploring Relationship Dilemmas video. The kids were mad crazy after watching the videos since they really liked them. Just go ahead and subscribe to get top-notch entertainment after every upload. Anyway, she would also cook for us, and I swear she is the best bobo tie maker known to man. I asked her on a date shortly after, and we went on with the dates to get to know each other better. After a couple of dates, I got to know her much better and even met her family. Since she bonded very well with my daughters too, it was only right that I asked for her hand in marriage. That's exactly what I did. I got down on one knee and proposed, and luckily, she said yes. At the time, I was 35 years old. We got married, and Sophia moved in to live with us. And as I lived with her, there are certain traits I had initially ignored that really began to haunt me. Being the cash manager at a big bank can get to your head since it's a really prestigious position. Without self-control, you could easily become rude. At the bank, I was senior to her since I was the branch manager. To those junior to her, she was really rude, especially to the bank tellers who worked directly under her. She was very uncouth. Initially, I had ignored it because I thought she was only doing it to seem tough, so that work could get done. I understood that she was under so much pressure herself, and she only wanted everything done perfectly. This is probably the reason why I was the only one who got along with her at work, simply because she was disliked by almost every other person at work since she always came off as harsh. For instance, on one scenario, we went out for dinner with both our daughters. After the meal, I noticed that I was short on the bill by a lot. I was confused but eventually remembered that I forgot to carry some money. When I consulted her and asked her to chip in for me, she burst out in anger and began shouting expletives. I tried to cool her down by saying that I would refund the money immediately we got home, but my pleas fell on a deaf ear. She rudely took out money and threw it on the floor while prompting me to pick it up. She had caused a scene in a restaurant right in front of my daughters. You can imagine how embarrassing that was. In shame, I took the money and paid. I didn't want the situation to escalate further, so I just humbled myself. Things got worse as she would even disrespect me at work. As my junior in the bank, she would respect me. As my wife, she thought she now had leverage to talk to me however she wished. Soon after, she got a promotion to branch manager in another branch on the other side of town. Every night comprised of us arguing right in front of the kids. At times, I would threaten to send her packing out of my house and even send her back to her parents. Whenever I said this, she would hold back a little bit and even calm down. But as time went on, she wasn't barged by my words. In fact, she would ask me to keep on going with the threats since she said it was only a matter of time before she abandoned me and my daughters. Since she was making more money since the promotion, she was filled with pride. I should have seen this coming. She never wanted to have kids with me, and she always criticized my attempts for public display of affection. I saw this coming, but what happened over the next few weeks was something I had never imagined, even in my wildest dreams. Friday morning. The situation was tense in the living room. We had breakfast and we all entered the car. After dropping the kids from school, I decided to try and calm things with Sophia by talking to her. She looked at me with disgust, and before she alighted, she smirked at me and shouted, "Good riddance." She smashed the door and walked away angrily. I drove away to my workplace and I kept recalling on what she meant by good riddance. However, I didn't stress much on it. I planned to introduce a therapist to try and help us fix our situation. I had already put down the deposit for the therapist. In the evening, I went to pick Sophia before I could pick the kids. At Sophia's workplace, she had already left, so I headed straight to pick the kids from school. I picked up the kids from school and we headed straight home. At home, Sophia had not yet arrived. I tried to reach her over the phone, but the call didn't go through. I just decided to prepare dinner for the kids as we waited for her. I was up until 10 p.m. and when I realized that she wasn't coming, I just went to bed. The next day, I decided to try and contact her siblings to know of her whereabouts. They all said that they hadn't heard from her. So, I decided to ask her parents, but they too were unaware of where she was. Whenever I would call her phone, she would never pick up. This went on for a week, and taking care of the kids all by myself together with the stress I had to go through was taking a huge toll on me. I realized that I couldn't trust her siblings or parents since there was a high chance that they were hiding her. After visiting each one of them and confronting them, I was convinced that she wasn't with them. As I realized that I couldn't take care of the kids by myself, and also since they were on holiday after closing schools, I decided to take them to their grandparents, my parents. I also did this so that I could take them away from the drama and try and make them happy. However, before I could take them there, I wanted to visit my parents all by myself for some advice, and also to inform them that I would be taking my kids there for the holiday. On the planned date, I set out for their house. On arriving at their place, I was confronted by a big shock. After the door was opened for me, I walked into the sitting room and stared right into Sophia's soul. I couldn't believe my eyes that Sophia had been hiding there for almost a month. What's even more confusing is that my parents never told me about her staying with them. All along, I believed it was my in-laws who were hiding my wife, not knowing it's my parents. I lost my temper and lashed at my mother. In anger, my father stood up and asked me not to yell at his wife in his compound. He said I didn't want my wife, so they took her from me to take care of her. My mom even said that they would take the children and give their stepmother, Sophia, full custody of them. It's been weeks now and my wife and children aren't back home. In fact, It looks like I made a mistake sending the children to my parents because now they are not in any hurry to let my wife go. My wife in turn seems to be in no hurry to return to me, her husband. She seems to be enjoying the attention from my parents as if it's them she got married to. I'm now living like a bachelor even though I'm a married man and my wife isn't even moved. I go to visit my parents every weekend now so I can see my family. My wife has never said a word to me. She walks past me like she doesn't know me. She never said a word to me. What's worse is that even my kids seem to like Sophia more than me, and I have been battling depression for a while now. I have been dialing her phone number to have a talk with her, and it's still unreachable as it has been for months. After a few days, I reported the incident to my dad's elder brother to try and get help from him, but he told me to sort my issues out with my parents. Everyone seemed to be turning their backs against me. What is annoying me now is that I want my wife and kids back, but my parents said they are not ready to give her back, because I don't value her and I haven't learned my lesson. Can you imagine? I never meant to send my wife away. I just wanted to teach her a lesson. I need advice on how to get my wife from my parents because the odds are against me now. My family is on the side of my wife, and her family don't care if I exist. They've asked me to return their daughter if I'm tired of living with her. What do you guys think? What can I do?
Guys, that's just Bobo's version of the story. However, he left out quite a lot and has added his own lies into the story. I urge you guys to stay tuned to listen to my version of the story, which is way more accurate. Bobo has a big problem that I will talk about as I share my experience with him in the next video.
Remember to like the story and also check out the playlist of all our videos.
Thanks for watching.